Also here in 7.1 we have the very important little tidbit about array operations, and that is accessing array elements. Now this is on page 405. As I mentioned in the previous video, we refer to an element in an array by its subscript, right? So that's a number, and it's the number of total elements in the array minus 1. So here, this is the same numbers array we were talking about in the previous video. So I have an array called numbers that has 6 elements, and they are all integer elements. Well, the way we refer to those is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's actually 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that gets to be confusing for people, especially when they are just starting out with arrays. Now, the way this works is we would refer to that subscript this way. So numbers 0, like you see here, this is page still 405. So as you see here, numbers at sub 0, that is this element in the array, right? Whereas here, numbers sub 3, that's here, then the value stored in there is 30. So that's the way we would do this. There's a note here also on 405. It's pronounced sub-zero the way I just did that there. I meant to mention that first. I did it naturally and I came back to it. So the subscript it is you are referring to, you would just use it after the name of the array you're referring to. So number sub-0, number sub-1, number sub-2, number sub-3, you get the idea, and we keep on going there. I will mention it here, and this kind of comes up to page 409. Java does perform what is known as bounds checking. So I'm going to come back up here, and we're going to look at our example previously. Here we go. The way that Java does this is a little backwards, and actually in the testing phase of things, this can be a thorn in your side. The way Java bounds checks is as follows. So a bounds check is, it happens right here. It happens to the right of your array reservation, right? The place where it is that you have contiguous data storage for the elements in your array. As long as you are populating 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, Java does not have a problem. However, if you try to put something in, the numbers array at element 6, which would be right over here, immediately that is going to cause your application to close. It's going to throw an exception. That exception is hopefully going to be caught. We will talk about catching exceptions more. I believe it's chapter 11, a little bit further down the road. And boom, the application is closed. Your user does not have any idea of what the issue was. If you have not tried to catch that exception, you are not going to know what that issue was, and this becomes a problem. So we do have to be aware of that boundary checking. The good news is here in Java, your application is going to have crashed and quit essentially. So you won't be able to get that far. In other languages, the languages do not do boundary checking. So you could try to put 400 elements or 400,000 elements in a 6-element array, and it's just never going to let you know. And that leads to a huge, huge issue with the data. At least this way, the idea behind it is, look, if it crashes, that's going to send you, the developer, looking for what caused that crash. And you can, I just need a larger array here. So that's what the hope there is. So that is referring to the elements of your array. You simply call them by their subscripts, so numbers sub-0, sub-1, sub-2, sub-3. And remember that Java does do boundary checking, but it does boundary checking by closing and quitting and crashing immediately, as opposed to simply allowing you to try to keep putting values over here to the right-hand side of your array where they cannot go.